What's up, Rubits? Little Big Robot's back. Hey, so I basically stopped collecting 30 minutes missions. Man, this table is beat to hell. I didn't stop collecting them, but I just stopped with all the grunt kits. I still have a few on pre-order, and I always keep an eye on the line. It's one of my favorite lines for sure. But for now, I'm just not as trying so hard to keep up with every single, going back and buying kits and stuff like that. There are two that are I have on pre-order from Gunzo that look really, really cool. I'll be happy to pick those up when those come out in June or something like that. So let me get my notes here situated. Sorry, I got to get a little light fixture. I'm missing one of my lights, but I think it's probably fine. So I thought it'd be cool just to go over the top ones that I really love from this line. We'll start, not really in a particular order until you get kind of the top, but let's just start from the bottom. This, I believe, is the BEXM 28 River Nova green. I think it's the River Nova. I always get them confused. So if I get something wrong, feel free to let me know in the comments. He's gotten pretty loose, not too bad. 30 minutes missions is as fantastic as they are, and what a great deal they are. They do tend to get a little loose pretty easily. I don't know if it's the polycap style or the quality or whatever, but it's nothing that you can't fix pretty easy with a little rubber cement. Or even some new polycaps. It's not a big deal. This guy was really cool because it reminded me of kind of the Dom, with its great big fat feet. He had I love these plain heads, mono eye heads that are just kind of a simple camera or whatever. And remember, these guys are supposed to be 1/144 scale, so a human's supposed to be really small. But to me, 30 minutes missions work really great. Just from almost like an action figure, like a 112 action figure, something like a robot buddy. I have him holding this little weird gun here or whatever, but of course, as with all 30 minutes kits, you can do a million different things. This runs for around $20. All of the 30 minutes kits I have, except for very few, are under 25, 30. Most are 15 to 20, I think, 15 to 20 something. And this guy was really cool design. You can see him doing some really fun poses and stuff like that. Would take a weathering really, really well. So I love this guy so much. Really, really fun. I'm going to stick them all up. Let's reach over here. Here we go. Number 5. This is the I can never say it. And again, if I get any of these wrong, let me know, because I might have mixed them up, because I'm kind of dumb. The REXM 502M as in Mary. Forestari 02. There's a normal Forestari, which is I've had before. This is where I put my light somewhere. Oops, sorry. And I think it comes in white, and I want to say another color. The white one I didn't like as much. I believe it had a see-through cockpit on the chest. If not, I'm not seeing it here on my shelf. I forgot I took most of them down. But this is a compact, fun little. It's about $19. I got it. It's just a really cool little bot. Again, doesn't read so much like a giant robot, a 1/144 scale robot with a human as tall as his foot here, but would work really well as like a 112 action figure, like a security bot or something. Has some really nice. What I like about these is I like robot looking kits. That's the whole thing about my channel. I like small versions of giant robots. And some toy lines will get into, like, instead of cool bots, they'll get into animals and stuff, which can work really well. I like a lot of those kits, and I'll show those in some upcoming reviews. But overall, my favorite thing is just a robotic looking thing. And this is a very understated kit. I like the little gun. I believe this came with it, but you just slot their guns, and you don't have to take their hands apart and stuff. And it has that cool little stock there and stuff. It's just a neat little, I just think it's neat. But it has a cool design. Overall, the silhouette is great. Very, very flexible. It does have the waist I don't like as much that 30 minutes uses, which is just underneath. It kind of hooks into the front like that, kind of like, goop. I believe that's the kind it's using. Let's see here. Yeah, you can actually, it's just slotted in there normally. If you know the Spinacios, they have the ones that hook in the front. So sometimes their waist and their chest can be a little bit loose and a little flimsy. But again, you can swap that out with some fresh polycaps and be just fine. But I just love all the little details on this one. It has that cool blue, just sticks out from that plain black. If you were to weather this with a little silver to give it kind of like it had been scratched or whatever, that would look really cool. Really, really nice kit, just straight out of the box. Boop. Again, I probably got half the names wrong. Watch. This one I'm not 100%. I should have looked it back up. This is the wait. Where am I here? What number 2? There we go. B as in Baker, I should say. E as in Edward, XM, BEXM 33, T as in Thomas. the Vulpanova. I believe this is the Vulpanova. Anyway, I'll link them in. Don't worry, I have them on my shopping page, and I'll link them in the comments so you'll find all the proper ones. But it's about $22. This one is actually missing parts. Actually, it comes with this huge backpack that has tracks and stuff on it. I wanted to show it in the form that I prefer, which is this. Again, looking like a robot. You can see it has these funny parts on the skirt, on the waist. And those are used for connecting those bits, but really you can use them for anything. You can also just pull those off if you don't like them like that. So it's a very thin-waisted bot, but again, that's cool. I really see this as less as a giant bot and more of like a, the army drops him behind enemy lines type thing, and he's like 6'5", 6 foot tall, not very big. I love this head. It reminds me, they have a few that are done like this, like that one there, the Rivanova, where it has this kind of, mono eye. But what I like about that is it reminds me of, this one in particular reminds me of Scope Dog, kind of, just an overall feel, not really a look. But I love when they put these little touches here in the front, like a little, what is that, a handle? Is that a bar? You don't know, but it just works really well. But like I said, if you look at my original review for this, it has the backpack with like the parts that can kind of fold down. I don't really care about the backpack and the parts, so I left those off. Even the feet, even though they're very plain, I like a realistic foot, quote unquote, where it looks like that would work in real life. It would have a good purchase on the ground without letting it sink into the mud. That's something I'm always kind of a stickler about in my favorites. It doesn't have to be that way all the time, of course. Sometimes I like just, completely unrealistic looking bots, but in most cases for my favorites, I really want them to kind of look like something that could be made in real life. And this guy was really, really cool, but also looking tough, and having the standard, all the little ports and holes that you can plug all the extra bits into. 30 Minutes Missions is made for that. So, but that's a really cool one. I really enjoyed that one. Next, we've got this one here, which is the EXM Bascerato Gray Bot. I said, why did I put down Gray Bot? Oh, maybe to help me remember which one he was. What is all this paint? I got paint everywhere. I don't have his little, let's see if I've got, let me pause. I'm going to see if I got it. Looks like I do. He comes with this, probably my favorite thing, one of my favorite things that they ever made. This is a little scout bot that came with it. Its legs do not even fold. It's kind of a shame. They definitely could have made those where you could at least just twist them or whatever. You could customize and do that. But this is just a little extra bot that came with this. And again, to give you an idea of the size, these are supposed to be, a human's about as tall as his foot here. So, but just that alone, honestly, the kit's almost worth it for this wonderful little, this little scout here. It doesn't really fold up or anything that I know. Now, it does have that little dot, or that little place there. So if I remember correctly, it might hook up somewhere on the main guy. But you get that little guy, and you get this really kind of hulking, kind of I thought it kind of reminded me a bit of Armored Core, and the way they have that kind of heavy T kind of looking shape, but a lot of times on it. It's just a really, really bulky. Look at these giant bell-bottom pants that look like feet on their own, and I think these are all connectors. I can't really remember what all this guy does. Again, I'll put the full review there, but this is how I like him. He just looks cool. I leave him on the shelf like that. He gets really loose pretty quick, which is really strange. I don't know if it's the polycaps. Again, somebody not tell me if their 30 Minutes kits get looser, if it's just maybe a little bit lower quality polycap, to help keep him cheap. He has even, look at this cool hand. It reminds me of, the hand from Witch from Mercury, the grunt kits. They have those they have two fingers on their hand like this, like a Spock, greeting, but it's just one finger, which I thought was really funny. Here it's actually folded in, so you can see it, because that's unusual. It has a nice chunkiness. Without the head even, you can even see it looking kind of like a Warhammer, like a Titan. It has that kind of turtle shell where everything hangs off of it. I'm seeing that in quite a few different bots. His head's interesting, so it's got just a really nice silhouette. Again, just chunky, military looking. And I believe that one was around 24. So yeah, all these, being that the 30 Minutes kits almost always go on sale at some point. So just keep an eye out for these. I love that one. He's really, really chunky. And the little scout is so awesome. Number 2, this is easy. Yeah, she's a little dusty though. This is the Acerbe Type D. Again, what I was saying about humanoid type kits are not my favorite giant robots, but I like a humanoid style kit when it looks a few different ways. If it looks like a realistic human bot, kind of like, like in the Chappie movies or something like that kind of look like they could step into real life, or something like this that looks like a very, very stylized, almost an anime hero type of character. But what I really dug about this one is she's a bit different than the other ones. Is not only her head is a little bit different, it's the colors that really do it, and that's not usually the best way, I should say, to judge a kit, but the colors are really fantastic. It makes her look like she's got on really nice sneakers, like, you know, running sneakers, and she's got couple little sticky dots on there because I had her sticking to a thing on a shelf so she wouldn't move. You get these, see how sticky they are? You can get those little dots for dirt cheap, and they're great. See, she's stuck still. They're great for if you're trying, like, we just had an earthquake the other day, for example, and not very many things from my top shelf fell because I had those little sticky dots on. You get a whole pack of them for dirt cheap. But she's fantastic. These Acerbe kits are really cool. I love how the helmet has a very simple, you can just, all you got to do is take it off and you see her face, and you can put it up, boop, in the next slot up, if I can do that. And then she's got it up like she's, you know, and this is her I'm ready to fight position. It's just a really cool kit. Even these strange little bits here that you can hang other stuff on, you can just pull them right off, but they look nice. I'm not a sword guy, but the sword fits really nicely into this scabbard here. Let me see if I'm trying to do some with my hand over the other hand. So you just push it in there and you can still see it. So it has a nice look to it, so she could kind of be holding it, you know, boop, boop. And bend her arm up, there you go. Kind of be holding it ready, you know. Just a great, I mean, I know I've seen people talk a lot about like the Miles Morales action figures they have out there that are super posable and have tons of articulation. These guys are it for the same price, 20-some bucks. I would bet that the action figure is actually more expensive. They're really nice ones. So you can get these kits for dirt cheap. If you find them on sale, grab you 2 or 3 of them. They make great customs, and as you can see, it's just got all these little additional parts that'll fit with almost all these. So even though this is part of 30 Minutes missions, they could go along with the 30 Minutes Sisters kits that are, you know, literally like humanoid kits. But just really cool. Those shoes alone are just fantastic. Now, of course, number one, I want you guys, girls, and others out there to think for a minute what my number one is. Obviously, come on, I talk about this all the time. It's one of my number one toys kits of all time, and that's the EXA Vehicle. I forget what the exact name of this guy, round green guy. You can get these still for $10 to $15. I probably have bought 10 of them over time. I've given away a few. I've built a ton, made a few customs, and what I love so much about this is not only is it compact and cool looking, but it reminds me of something they would actually build in real life. I know that sounds kind of silly because everything is trying to go the realm for something like this, you know, like a humanoid looking walking thing. But imagine they had, now this is supposed to be, the human is supposed to be really small, but imagine this is, you know, 5 foot or 7 foot or, you know, 6 foot tall. It's not real huge, right? It's a human sized bot. And let's say the legs, because the legs can fold like this, can completely fold up and sit like that. The arms stay, but you can compact it down. I just imagine them dropping a bunch of these into a war zone, boop, and the guy lands and pops up. This is like all armored. It's like armored like a tank, you know, angles where the bullets and stuff would ricochet. But these legs are so simple and yet so elegant. I love how these, they can't move forward, you know, can't bend forward. They stop there. But you see how it's flush, and then they fold down so prettily, however you say that. Also, you get the bonus of the head being a scout on its own. So you can pull that out. Now, you do have the emptiness there, but remember, you could customize that to look really cool. And I've even put some like 1/30 scale figures in here, like it's driving it. So it's got that flexibility. And then you have this cool little, I love this giant mono eye. Reminds you of the War of the Worlds old movie. You know, the tripods coming up and that sound they would make when they would shoot. Got tons of great detail. I just noticed these 3 dots. Oh, 2 or 3 months ago, I was playing with one and I took a photo and I was like, wait, I never even noticed these 3 little dots. I don't know what those 3 little bumps are, but it's a great little design. And he stays in there really tight. So you can leave it at that, so it looks like a head, or you can push it down and it still rotates. It's a brilliant little design. It is a little bit weird that in the middle, though, his eye is a bit covered right there, more than on the side, but still. It's just a crazy, I want to meet the person who designed this, the intern or whoever who got, you know, hey, give me a robot by midnight on Monday, and they threw this together and it came out as one of the most brilliant things ever. It's just fantastic. What a great... you could stop 30 minutes missions with this guy alone. And a lot of people think he looks comical because he's round and cute. I don't think that at all. I think he looks like a weird, tough, bulletproof bot that would show up and not, kick your door down and take out your evil gang of nefarious drug dealers or whatever, And it's just it's a scary, cute little thing. Love this kit so much. So that's like my top 6. I have others, but really, 30 Minutes Missions has a ton of great kits in it. These are my favorite. Let me know what you like in this. I like the plain ones. I like the practical looking bots, other than the Acerbe, So just it's got a little bit of everything for everyone. 30 Minutes Missions still does not disappoint. And then you get the addition of, they're so modular, you can hot swap everything. It's just really, really fun. So good on you, 30 Minutes Missions. I'll talk to you later. I'm getting a few more new 30 Minutes kits here soon. Hopefully the next month or two, I think they're coming out. And they look almost like this guy with skis or something. It's hard to explain. So hopefully those will come out good. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.